Ladies, gentlemen, and everyone who knows, if you name your Louisville Slugger after your ex-wife, people's heads are gonna explode. Welcome to the Wednesday Night Joke Net here on the 146895 repeater. This is KE8PVO, your net control for the evening. My name is Nemo, November Echo Mike Oscar, and I am located just a few clicks south of the tower in beautiful Denmark Township. Before I go any further, is there anyone that needs this repeater for emergency or priority traffic? Okay, nothing heard. If anybody does need this repeater for emergency or priority traffic, please break in at any time with break and your call sign. We will gladly concede the repeater for the duration of the emergency. This is, again, the Wednesday Night Joke Net here on 146895 repeater. And this is a directed net. All traffic should go through net control. Everyone with a valid amateur radio license is encouraged to participate. And everybody else who's just listening around scanners and or whatever, we appreciate you being here too. This net meets every Wednesday night on this repeater, and the purpose of this net is to have fun, making each other laugh, coming up with crazy punchlines for this week's joke. This is a 3-round net, so please stick around. You may miss something, and tonight is the last night of the month, so it is open mic night, so have your topic ready for the discussion round. Before I go down the list of regular check-ins, let me just break for time and say thanks to Tom. Tom and HCT, thank you for the use of this repeater every Wednesday night at 8 p.m. and having it up on the air. We appreciate what you do for the radio community. Also, you can get to this repeater via Echolink, and the node for that is W8IJC-L. Obviously, if you're listening on the radio, you reach it with RF, or you can hear it from RF, and the PL tone for it is standard, and the offset is standard, and the PL tone is 141.3. So please feel free to participate if you can get into the repeater. All right, or R on Echolink, please, absolutely. Let me break again, and we'll go down the list of regular check-ins. We'll see who else here tonight. Let me start off, as always, with Jeff, KC8LAR. Okay, no Wayne tonight. We'll reach out to Dan. How about that? I heard him in there. N8DRL.
Echolink. W8IJC link.
All right, Dan, thank you for checking in with me tonight. I appreciate you joining the net here. How about Ken, KE8YBN? All right, nothing heard from Ken either. It must be the beautiful evening that we're having here in northeastern Ohio. How about Wayne, Alpha Charlie 8, Yankee Juliet?
Good evening, Alpha Charlie 8, Yankee Juliet.
Okay, Wayne, thank you for joining us tonight. Appreciate you being here. We'll reach out to Cleveland Heights. We'll see if Dave's around, K8TIE. Okay, nothing heard there either. We'll keep on moving down the list. We'll go to Vito, Alpha Delta 8, Oscar India.
Alpha Delta 8 Oscar India, I'm here. What is this for anything?
All right, now we'll reach out to Andrew and see if he's here. Alpha 8, Delta Lima. All right, hopefully he's okay. I know we haven't heard from him in a couple weeks, but I'm sure he'll be back on shortly. As soon as I take somebody off the list, they always pop back up. How about Jim, KE8LFR?
KE8LFR, present for round one anyway.
All right, Jim, thanks for joining us tonight. Appreciate it, dude. And how about we'll see if he can punch through the trees. W8KNO, Joe.
Joe is here.
All right, Joe, got you in the log. Thank you for joining us tonight. Appreciate it, man. We'll go to Tom and see if he's around. KE8QWG. All right, let's reach across the pond, see if our friend Bruce has joined us. Victor Echo 6 X-Ray Tango Charlie.
Okay, I'm here, Victor Echo 6, X-Ray Tango Charlie. Glad that the net is on tonight, and I'm looking forward to the open mic part.
All right, Bruce, does that mean you have a potential topic for this evening, sir? All right, well, we'll try and give him another chance here in a little bit, and when we get into the discussion round, we'll see what happens. All right, that's the end of the list as I have it. Anybody I missed or anybody who wants to check in, please call KE8PVO.
K8TIE, King 8, Care Item 8, K8TIE, checking in.
All right, Dave, K8TIE, thank you for joining us tonight. Appreciate it. Glad to hear you on the radio. One more call out. Anybody else want to join the net?
KE8YVN, Ken, check it in.
KE8YBN, we've got you in there. Thank you for joining us tonight, sir. Appreciate you being around. One more time, anybody else? All right, nothing heard. We'll go into this week's joke. So this week's joke is, what do you call a cowboy who loves telling jokes? This week's joke is, what do you call a cowboy that loves telling jokes? And man, I guess we will put our new friend Bruce in the hot seat. Somebody, you gotta break him in at some time, and I guess this week is gonna be it. Bruce, thank you for joining us again this evening. Victor Echo 6 X-Ray Tango Charlie, what do you call a cowboy who loves telling jokes?
How about a rodeo clown?
He's a rodeo clown. That's a job I would not want to have. All right, we'll keep on going down the list. Dave, K8TIE, what do you call a cowboy who loves telling jokes?
KETIE here. Nemo, could you give me a couple of minutes, maybe call me and 3 or 4 people on down? Just about getting a hold of being able to jot it down, let alone think about it. KETIE, back to net control.
All right, we'll circle back to you, no problem. How about Ken, KE8YBN? What do you call a cowboy who loves telling jokes?
No, Nemo, something like maybe the laughter of the plains?
The laughter of the plains. That's a good answer. I like that answer. You can hear them. Well, there's nothing there to stop it. It's like radio signals. Great Plains just keeps on going. The laughter. All right, gotcha in there. Thank you for that, Ken. We'll move up the list to Dan N8DRL. What do you call a cowboy who loves telling jokes?
Instead of a cow poke, how about a cow joke?
All right, he's got cow jokes. Very good. We'll keep on going. How about Wayne, Alpha Charlie 8, Yankee Juliet? What do you call a cowboy who loves telling jokes?
How about a Jolly Lancer?
A Jolly Rancher. I like that one. That's a good one. That's a good answer. All right. How about Vito, Alpha Delta 8, Oscar India? What do you call a cowboy that loves telling jokes?
I'm going to say an amusing wrangler.
That's one funny wrangler. All right, we've got that locked in. Thank you for your answer tonight. How about Jim? I know you're still here. KE8LFR. What do you call a cowboy that loves telling jokes?
A cowboy that loves telling jokes. Laugh a laughs.
All right, that's a good answer too. I appreciate that one. How about Joe, W8KNO? Can you punch through the trees and tell us what do you call a cowboy who loves telling jokes?
I would say a saddle slapper. A saddle slapper.
All right, we punched through the trees and we copied Saddle Slapper. That's what I got. Thank you for checking in tonight. Appreciate it, man. All right, this is. Oh wait, let me circle back to KETIE there. What do you call a cowboy who loves telling jokes?
I think maybe we call him Roaring Jokester. KETIE, back to net control.
W8IJC link.
All right, very good. Now that rounds out the list as I currently have it. Is there anybody who would like to check in? Please call KE8PVL. All right, nothing heard. So this week's joke, what do you call a cowboy who loves telling jokes? I have a pun-slinger. A pun-slinger. That's what my answer is. Nobody even got it, but that's okay because there were some great answers in there that I didn't think of. All right, we'll keep on going then. Let me make some announcements, and then we'll get to why everybody's really here. Okay, we all love the area's District 10 Ashtabula County Emergency Services Group and what they do. They have a net every Monday night at 8 p.m. on the 146895 repeater. That's this one. That repeater also has a negative offset and a PL tone of 141.3. That would be this repeater. And an Echolink node of W8IJC-L. Man, check out the Ashtabula County Emergency Services net on Monday nights. And if you're local, please give them a hand. All right, the Ashtabula County Amateur Radio Club's weekly radio net is every Thursday night at 8 p.m. over on the 146715 repeater. That repeater has a negative offset and a 141.3 PL tone. An Echolink node of N8CT-L. Check into their net every week. They have a good group of folks over there running the show. All right, Amigos Radio Club Ashtabula's monthly meeting is being moved into the second Saturdays of the month, and I will continue to say that until the second Saturday of next month. And it's still in the same place, 3600 Stanhope, Kelloggsville Rd. Come check us out and learn some amateur radio stuff. Let me break. Okay, last thing I've got is Amigos Radio Club Ashtabula is setting up a station at Pioneer Picnic. We're going to have a booth out there. We're going to share the love of amateur radio to all the fair goers that are coming, and do some call sign grabbing while we're out there. We're going to be operating under KC8OH August 29th through September 1st at the 135th Annual Pioneer Picnic. So come check us out. That's 1809 Middle Road in Pierpont. It'll be great fun, and we'll have a bunch of our guys there as far as I know. All right, that's all the announcements I have, well, let's go down the list. We'll see what everybody's got to say tonight. Dan, you're top. No, wait. Sorry, we're putting Bruce in the hot seat tonight. Victor Echo 6, X-Ray Tango Charlie. Bruce, thank you for joining us. You're in the hot seat tonight. What do you got for the group?
I was just thinking about multiple call signs. I'm wondering why a lot of people will go for 2 or 3 or 4 different call signs. I think it uses up all of the possible call signs that people need, and also it just adds confusion. At least that's how I feel about it. So I'm just curious about what the other people are thinking about extra call signs.
All right. Well, I like that topic, actually. And if nobody else has one, we'll go ahead and talk about it during the discussion round. In the meantime, we'll keep on going through the comment phase and see how things are going. Bruce, thank you for joining us, and I'll put that in there. K8TIE, Dave, good to have you with us tonight. Thank you for checking in. And what do you got for the group? K8TIE, are you still with us? Yeah, I'm sure everything's okay over there. Maybe you just had to reset his internet connection or something along those lines. I bet he'll be back with us in a few moments. How about KE8YBN down there in Andover? Thanks for joining us tonight, Ken. What do you got?
Hi, Nemo. Yeah, not a whole lot, but spent the whole day working on a old lawnmower. It's 25 years old, sitting around for like 3 years, and finally worked on it. They put your carburetor, finally got a little antique thing running. So I'm tired of it. A lot of struggles. Yeah, back in that.
feel you on that, man. Small engine repair time is here. I let my neighbor down the road borrow my log splitter, and he couldn't get it to start. And then I went over there, and I couldn't get it to start either. And I didn't have time to look at it. I guess I'm gonna be cleaning the carburetor myself pretty soon here. All right, we'll keep on going down the list here. Alpha Charlie 8 Yankee Juliet Wayne, good to have you with us tonight, sir. And what do you got for the group?
Nothing much. Just sitting back, relaxing a little bit. That was a good joke. Everybody gave a lot of good answers, and thanks for doing that. Other than that, just might play a little bit of radio later tonight. We'll see how the bands are doing. I haven't been on too much lately. Did POTA, I think, 2 days ago, but might go out tomorrow. I'll have to see. Back to net control. Thanks, Nemo. Alpha Charlie 8, Yankee Juliet.
All right, very good. Absolutely, all good answers. Absolutely, and good on you for the POTA stuff. I saw Sonny, speaking of POTA, KD8LHR. He was doing a POTA earlier today with Ray. They were live streaming it over YouTube, and I guess they did pretty good. But I haven't heard them on the radio and the net for a while now. But hey, I know they're doing good. All right. We'll keep on going down the list here. We'll go to Dan, N8DRL. Good to have you with us tonight, sir. What do you got for the group? Ooh, N8DRL, you still with us? All right, well, we're not getting any audio from that, so we'll keep on going, and we'll figure that out in just a minute. Maybe we'll circle back up to him, because certainly he was here just a few moments ago. How about Vito Alpha Delta 8 Oscar India? Good to have you with us, sir. Good evening to you. What do you got for the group?
Not much, just playing around on the computer, and that's it. Back to that.
All right, very good. Okay, very good. Sorry, man, I got distracted by something, and I shouldn't even looked at it because I knew I was going to lose track of where I was. All right, so we'll keep on going. Sorry about that, Vito. Jim, K8LFR, you're next on the list. What do you got for everybody tonight?
Well, not a whole lot anymore. Same old stuff. Getting ready to go. Time to go pick her up again. Just the same old stuff, you know, work and stuff around the house, getting ready for, you know, it's coming. I'm not even going to say it. I'm not ready for it yet. Anyway, we'll turn it back to net control. K8LFR.
All right, good copy on the bad words, and I have not even started to prepare for it. So there you go. After this weekend, I'm going to be really hunkering down on some things that got to get done around here. Absolutely. Take it easy with the taxi dad thing going on there. I completely understand. All right, we'll keep on going. Joe W8KNO, thank you for joining us tonight. Hearing you through the trees. What do you got for the group, sir?
Good evening to everyone. I hope you're all having a good day. This last weekend I played in the Hawaii and Ohio QSO party. Did not anyone in Ashtabula County. And this weekend I'll work the Colorado and Kansas QSO parties. Hope to have a lot of fun. Back to you, W8K.
Absolutely, absolutely. You know, since we're gonna be set up out there, there's gonna be a couple QSO parties going on. That always makes for a good show for people at fairs when they see people sitting there working the radio and hearing contacts going. So there's a bright side to the contesting for the amateur radio folks out there. It makes us look busy. All right. Thanks, Joe, again for being here. And well, let's reach out to Dave K8TIE, see if he's resolved his connection issues.
I had taken make a little bit of a break there, but I was wondering, there was sort of for schools and stuff like that, there was a tax hiatus, and I don't know when it ends, but it was basically if you went to a store and bought something sort of cash right then and there, then there was no sales tax. And since it's about 8% in Ohio, I was trying to get something out a couple of weeks ago, and I just wondered whether it is still in effect for a day or two yet before Memorial Day weekend or Labor Day weekend. Anybody have any idea? KTIE, back to net control.
W8IJC link.
I don't know exactly what date that was that it ended, but it ended like about a week ago, I think. I remember it's been past the last days of it, but the Ohio sales tax holiday is something that yeah, as long as it's under a certain dollar amount or something along those lines. I really haven't looked into it too much. I just know that it dropped the gas prices for a little bit. All right. We'll keep on going. We'll try Dan again. He wasn't there for the comment round. So the N8DRL, are you back with us? All right, giving him just a little extra time for that Echolink connection, but I think he's probably dropped it. Hopefully, he is hanging out and recovering well. He had a little accident, and he's recovering. And our best wishes are with you there, sir. All right, that's all I can really say about it right now. So that rounds out the list as I have it. Is there anybody who would like to check into the Wednesday Night Jokenet before we start talking about multiple call signs? I really like that topic. This is KE8PVL. Please call. All right, nothing heard there. I feel the thing with multiple call signs, and I know there's only so many combinations. I like the custom call signs. Our club's call wouldn't be what it is without that. That I think is not what you're referring to necessarily, because that bumps that, in theory, call sign back into circulation so that somebody else can use it. I think there's a guy who has like an AI assistant that he uses on his radio, and it manages contacts for him and takes calls. It's kind of weird. I think that has its own call sign now. I could be wrong about that, but I guess I need more of an idea of multiple call signs. Let me break for time. One thing I do think about that is your call sign should be able to follow you across all non-commercial license categories, so that you don't need a separate one for GRMS as you do for amateur radio. Your call sign, you're either allowed to use it on those frequencies or you're not. So I think that would simplify things quite a bit. Um, so I mean that's the only instance I can think of with multiple call signs. Maybe you could elaborate just a little bit more. Victor Echo 6 X-Ray Tango Charlie Bruce. Go ahead and take that.
Come on, oh, good, it's on. I don't know why, but my thing keeps dropping out. Anyway, I think that like there's a lot of people that have a call sign for one kind of work and another call sign for another kind of thing, and I think that's a little too much. I can understand a person going from a 3-letter to a 2-letter call because it's easier to send, and it's also easier to pick a one that resembles something like your initials or something like that. But when you have a bunch of different calls for things, I know a few people who have one HF call and one VHF call and so on and so forth.
Well, that's interesting because I didn't even know that was a thing that could be done. So I'm gonna have to look into that just a little bit, because I was under the impression that your amateur radio license was your call sign, and you didn't get another one. The only way to get another one was to move, and they don't do that anymore, or well, I guess if you moved countries it would, but not internally to the U.S. But either that or that was it. I can't think of now that you can get a custom call sign, obviously. But man, I'm gonna have to look into that more. Absolutely. Well, let's move down to Dave K8TIE. What are your thoughts about people having multiple call signs?
I've never thought of having one, and I guess I could imagine somebody wanting a different one for high frequencies, for a high frequency transceiver and his UHF transceiver. But when you really come down to it, when somebody comes back with either of the call signs, that requires your attention. Now, some of the digital modes, maybe you don't even use voice in it, but even there, I mean, you can use the same call sign and just have a suffix that you choose to take and recognize in your receiver package. Kind of like a near header. D header is your call sign, and then with a couple of characters, windows after that could be your VHF or UHF or this band or that band, but there wouldn't be a different FCC. And that way you could take but that means that you're really running 2 or 3 rigs simultaneously. So unless it's full digital, like data, I think you would have to take and pay attention to it. So I don't see much utility for the standard audio, somebody's got to listen to it kind of thing. That sounds like it would only be worthwhile in a digital situation. And then you've got the possibility that a couple of guys take up half the band with their massive digital load, and the bands are pretty crowded as they are, so I'm not sure you want to do that. Just my thoughts. K8TIE, back to net control.
All right, very good. Yeah, and even as a technician class license, if I wanted to, I know I could be running this net and on 10 meters, working 10 meters at the same time. So I'm not, I don't maybe this is something. Maybe you touched on it. It's something that is whatever the Canadian FCC version. I forgot what they're called off the top of my head. I knew it a month ago, I swear. But what maybe it's something that has to do with the way their airwaves are and their licenses work. I know a couple months back they were talking about listen only licenses, which I don't know about that either. But hey, there's good ideas out there, and there's that's what makes it different. Everybody can give something a shot. All right, we'll go to Wayne, Alpha Charlie 8. Alpha Charlie 8, Yankee Juliet. Wayne, what are your thoughts? Multiple licenses.
My thoughts on multiple licensure. I think it's okay, but sometimes is it just a money grab? That's how I'm looking at things sometimes.
All right. Well, I meant call signs, multiple call signs, obviously, but so yeah, just another way to bring in some cash to the organization. That could be some of it too. How about Vito Alpha Delta 8 Oscar India? What are your thoughts? Multiple call signs.
W8IJC link.
Would be a secondary or more would be a special event call sign or a club call sign. So it might be a Canadian thing to be able to have multiple call signs, but I don't see what the need would be to have multiple call signs in the first place, other than a club or special events type thing. But to have multiple personal call signs in the U.S. you cannot have. But that's it.
Well, I don't know. Maybe. Anyway, we'll keep on going down the list. I'm wanting to dig into it right now, and actually I shouldn't. I should just be directing traffic. All right, we'll see if Jim is still around. KE8 LFR. How about it, man? What are your thoughts on multiple call signs? All right, well, he's off to Daddy Taxi Land, but that's okay. We'll reach out to Joe, W8KNO. Maybe you could shed some light on multiple call signs.
Good evening again. No, I can't really. I'm still thinking back when W's were for generals and novices, and K's were issued for technicians. Then they came up with N's for advanced and A's for extra. And I've only had 2 call signs in my lifetime. When I lived in New Jersey, and when I came to Ohio in '71, I got my present call, and I kept it all the time. So, and I do believe that special events plus call signs should be able to have those also. So with that, back to you, W8KNO.
Yeah, absolutely. There's a situation where operating under a different call sign would exist, and I agree with you on those. There's a lot of famous landmarks that operate under specialty call signs for events, and so that database is there, and I believe there's a big number of call signs in that bank. I mean, there's some that like are always used by the same folks for the same event, but there's a recyclable number So like if you sign up for as an event station, you might actually get a call sign that was used by somebody else years back. So I think there's that bank of call signs that they circulate through as well. All right, we'll keep on going. So that was Joe. How about let's see. Well, that kind of rounds the list out. Oh, Ken, K8YBN. What are your thoughts, sir? Multiple call signs.
Nemo, I think one should be enough. If you're going to add the other one supersedes it, one would be more justification than getting multiple ones like having 2 or 3 license plates in the car. Anyway, I did that. Big 8 YVN, I did that.
All right, very good. Yeah, I don't know of a situation where you actually get to have 2 separate call signs, except for different license classes of radio, like with XRMS or with GMRS or ham. Like you got a ham license, you got a GMRS license. I think back in the day, CB would have counted into that because there was CB licensing too. But again, even through all those different ones, I think you should, for us in the States here, for sure, one license, one call sign is all you really need. And that, if you're going to pay for the GRMS license, that you don't need a different call sign. You've already got an amateur radio call sign, and that should just kind of go through the system that way, through all the radio services stuff. So anyway, that's just my thoughts on it. I think that would just make things a lot easier in the long run. This is K8PVL and the Wednesday Night Joke Night, because I do have to ID. And Bruce, thank you for the discussion topic tonight. Is there anybody that would like to recheck, or anybody that would like to check in? Please call K8PVL. Okay, nothing heard. I'm going to dig into this a little more because from what I'm seeing, I've never heard of it in our country. Maybe it's a thing that is to Canada there, Bruce, and I would like to know a little bit more about it, because I should learn a little bit more. I just always assumed you guys were pretty much like the same as we are as far as the licensing, the way the licensing works up there, sort of. But let me dig into it a little further. I definitely want to look into it. All right, this is K8PVL. I'm going to go ahead and put a bow on it tonight. Thank you, everybody, for being here. Without you, this net couldn't happen. I'd also like to thank Tom, NHCT, for the use of this repeater every Wednesday night at 8 p.m., and all those currently serving and retired from service to our country. Thank you for what you do. Your sacrifices are not going to be forgotten. This is K8PVL with the Wednesday Night Joke Night. I'm going to return the repeater back over to normal amateur radio use, whatever that might be. Be good to each other, everybody. K8PVL is clear.